I was super lucky that early on, and I was doing it through blogging versus podcasting, but I got to interview a lot of great authors really early on in my career. They also gave me great advice just off recording, like just also painted a picture of the reality of being an author instead of like what I mean, I really thought like, oh my gosh, this means that like if I sell one book, I can retire.
This was part of my former career when I worked at the Shakespeare Center. We did leadership seminars, and a lot of that was about the fear of public speaking and getting over that and being able to own your voice, own the space. And so much of that is just practice and getting comfortable with it. So practice your introduction, but also, once again, practicing your answers to questions. If you can get the questions ahead of time or even guess what they're going to be, practice it at home. Talk to your cat, talk to your partner, talk to the wall, rubber duck it out. But while you're doing that, time yourself, because time is so much different than you think it is when you're speaking. It sounds so like it's simultaneously like a silence sounds so much longer in your head than it does to anybody in front of you. But also a minute is actually not that much time. So like if I speak for 1 minute, that's plenty of speaking. If you time yourself doing it, you'll quickly realize like, oh, that's actually not that many words that I have to figure out how to get out. Practice your body, because so many people are like, I suddenly don't know what to do with my hands. I'm in front of people. What are these things at the end of my arms?
I mean, that has been the joy of doing our podcast for the past 7 years or so, is that we get to have these really fun, cool conversations with other cool authors that expand our own brains and make us be like, and create community. And I think community is really the big secret weapon there, which is why, that's why also I made such a big deal of sort of taking over the programming of my local home con so that I could be like, I'm going to get as many cool people here as I can get and make it as interesting a community as I can manage to pull together.
What is up, everybody? You're listening to SFF Addicts.
And Worldbuilding for Masochists.
Your weekly dive into the world of science fiction, fantasy, and writing craft.
And we're wondering why we do this to ourselves.
Because we're all masochists who love to talk about writing.
And somehow we've entered the podcast multiverse.
Dun, dun, dun.
I'm glad we all went for different sound effects there. Good.
Just really
it
gives it a
would be
rich
where
feel.
we usually drop our music and have our dance
and
break.
do our little dance break.
Have a little dance break as we start this crossover episode, and we hope everyone's doing well. This is a bit of a different vibe to our usual weekly shtick, but this week we are doing a crossover masterclass panel with the wonderful folks from Worldbuilding for Masochists podcast. Before we dig deeper into the episode, a quick word from our sponsor. You've spent years searching for a place to call home, chasing dreams of baked bread and found family, until one day you discover a world filled with magic, and you realize home isn't the destination, it's the journey. Flame both forges strength and warms hearts in Flower and Forge by Herman Steuernagel, releasing March 2026. And now, enjoy the rest of this episode of SFF Addicts. So, we're just going to go around and introduce ourselves. You guys can introduce yourselves first to our audience, and then we'll introduce ourselves to your audience.
All right. I am Marshall Ryan Maresca. I am one of the 3 co-hosts of Worldbuilding for Masochists. I am a fantasy author who has written quite a number of fantasy novels. Most of my novels are part of the Meridian Saga, which is 4 different fantasy series that are all intertwined together. And those starts with The Thorn of Denton Hill, A Murder of Mages, Holver Alley Crew, and The Way of the Shield. Plus, I have also written a diesel punk fantasy novel with motorcycles and magic sex mushrooms and tacos called The Velocity of Revolution. And that's me and my story. And I do this cool podcast with these two cool ladies who are about to introduce themselves.
Thanks, Marshall. I'm Cass Morris. I'm the author of historical fantasy series The Avon Cycle, which is Roman historical fantasy. I gave them magic to see what they would do with it, and it's wonderful and terrible things. In the rest of my life, I work in the world of immersive entertainment. I work for a company that produces mythology-themed summer camps, and I help to create the magical quests that we send children on every summer after we've armed them with foam swords and cardboard and duct tape armor. Yes, you're jealous of my job.
So jealous.
I really am.
Yes, it sounds so.
My job.
And I can't compete with that one for my job. I work in corporate America. So I think MJ and I have marketing jobs that slowly, take our soul. But I'm Natania Barron. I'm a fantasy author and fashion historian. My two book series that are out currently are The Queens of Fate, which is a feminist retelling of the Arthurian canon through the eyes of women who were written to the margins of the books, and the Love and Netherford series, which is a queer take on Regency-style romance with witches, werewolves, and vampires. Keeping busy with lots of other projects at the moment, but also enjoy my time with my wonderful colleagues every other week.
Fantastic. And for the Worldbuilding for Masochists fan base, all the listeners, I am Adrian M. Gibson. I'm the creator and co-host of SFF Addicts, and I am the author of Mushroom Blues. Marshall had me at mushrooms and tacos. Like, I was all over that.
Match made in heaven.
match made in a taco. But aside from doing this podcast with my lovely best friends, I'm also a book designer, doing like book interiors and cover design and stuff like that. Sort of a tattoo artist, not really anymore, but I did do that for like 7 years, and mostly just like tattoo friends and family and stuff like that. Illustrator as well, and a stay-at-home dad to two lovely little blonde boys. And that's me.
And I am MJ Kuhn, and if I was smart, I would have brought a copy of my book over. Oh, Adrian.
Oh, look at that.
I suck at hawking my own wares. But yeah, I'm the author of Among Thieves and Thick as Thieves, and co-host of the SFF Addicts podcast, and co-host of the brand new Fan Addict book club show on YouTube. So yeah, if you want to do some buddy reads with some cool folks, head on over to our YouTube and subscribe. Yeah.
And this month you guys are, you might already be finished by the time.
Yeah, I was going to say, when does this air?
This episode airs at the beginning of February, so I think you guys
Okay, this month we are doing Fathom Folk by Eliza Chan. So pick it up and come on in.
I'm needing to read that.
Yeah, I'm excited. The cover art is gorgeous.
And Greta with her new bangs.
Right.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm Greta Kelly. I am the newest co-host of SFF Addicts. Well, and I can't speak today, but I am the author of the Warrior Witch duology, which is kind of like if the princess from The Princess Bride was secretly a necromancer. And also the Queen of Days, which is basically what happens if your D&D party goes up against a fallen god and only rolls natural ones. So lots of fun, lots of banter, lots of killing spree endings. It's just my style. What can I say?
That's what I do.
I love that you all are like ready with each other's books, like to like
wonderful.
Highlight each other. That's so beautiful. I mean, we're not that prepared because we're not used to doing video at all. So.
Welcome to a whole new world, Marshall. At least all of you if you're not watching this in video, go watch it in video so you can see Greta's bangs and you can see how handsome the Worldbuilding for Masochists.
Very snazzy.
Yeah.
And we have our own bangs too, so we have an equal amount of bangs.
There is one dose of bangs per team.
Yes.
Is that like the
That's
limit?
tops.
I don't know. I feel like it's a lot of
MJ.
power. It's a lot of
Where's our
responsibility.
lipstick? We got to go
true.
put on lipstick, MJ.
Yeah, we don't have lipstick. We're missing out.
Marshall, where's your lipstick?
Come on, Marshall.
Did you get the memo?
I didn't get the memo.
It's not in
All
uniform.
the shades I have wouldn't have matched this vest, so therefore I had to make a choice.
That's fine.
That's fair.
Well, we are not going to be talking only about lipstick and bangs today. We're going to be doing a discussion on how to communicate about writing, because this is something that all six of us do every episode of our respective shows. And as authors, I think this is something that we've kind of learned is like part of the gig even if you don't want to accept that it is. And it's kind of one of those things where it's like, okay, I'm going to be an author in the 21st century and, in the 2020s. And then you realize like, oh shit, I have to do interviews, podcasts and live streams and panels. And if you're going to conventions and doing all these other things, there's so much public speaking and there's so much communicating about the act of writing or about your stories or about writing craft or all these different things. So I just wanted to toss it out to whoever wants to go first about what you think the role of public communication is for modern authors.
Well, it's so interesting because you have to be a personality. You sort of have to be, or at least you are made to feel as though you have to be. I feel like I should draw that distinction. There's pressure to feel like you need to be a brand and to put yourself out there in all these ways. And is it really that necessary? I have no idea, because apparently no one knows what sells books, including publishers. But
so true.
It is
all the marketers just like fucking throw in there.
Yeah.
Whether or not it seems like the people who are like the biggest names are the ones you see the least, and thus, and don't have any
like
sort
a weird,
of brand.
pretty privilege of being super successful is you don't have to do it anymore.
Right?
Yeah.
You like graduate from having to talk on camera.
And that's why I wonder how much is it actually necessary, or is it something we do to feel as though we have some measure of control over how we and our books are doing out there?
And I mean, it could depend on like what stage of your career you're at, right? And so it's like, I was talking to someone recently, and they're just like, I want to like reach China Mieville levels of not giving a fuck. And I was like, that is a good goal to aspire to.
Yes,
and I mean, there's a lot of baggage there, but like whatever. It's more so the fact that there are certain people who have, like you said, Cass, get to certain levels in their career where it's like they don't need to market a book anymore. They don't need to put in the hustle. But if you're a debut author, if you're on like the indie self-pub side of things, and now like I've seen more and more just through the people that we talk to, Adrian and Greta, like trad authors who are being published by big publishers, feeling a need, like you said, Cass, to put themselves out there and to kind of take on a lot of the marketing sort of weight that publishers used to carry back in the day.
If you're not a lead title at this point, you need to be basically acting like an indie in terms of your marketing and promotion. But yeah, it is funny though, because you see the folks like I in several writing groups and whatever, and there was a conversation someone was having about like, giving reviewers copies, like advanced copies of their books and stuff. And this is, everyone in this group is trad, so it's not even, obviously indie, you would be in charge of that. And a lot of people were like, psh, if reviewers want to review my book, they can buy it. And I was like, that is a very I would love to be that successful.
Bold choice.
But that's the thing. The folks that have that mindset in this group that I'm speaking of particularly can have that mindset because they have the weight of the publisher behind them. They're getting the support.
But they may not forever.
Right.
But like right now, they don't really have to do the hawking of the wares like some of us do.
But
some of us midlist.
What are we talking about again now?
The wild thing is they didn't necessarily know that. I remember I was talking with Sunny Dean, who was talking about how that like the quote was something she said was something about like traditional publishers can do about 100 different things for you, but you don't know if they're going to do them or not until it's too late.
Until they either do it or they don't.
MJ, didn't you have like a checklist that you got from your publisher?
Oh yeah, my publisher told me they were sending me on tour.
And it's like,
and then I didn't even get a retweet on my launch day.
Not even that.
But that's the thing. You don't know until they deliver or they don't. So totally good point. You kind of do have to be prepared to take on the onus yourself of communicating with the public, of doing this networking, of having a platform or trying to build one. Or else, you might just be left in a lurch.
And
I'd
it's
love
so
to get
wild, some
your
of the
take on
things
it.
that they would do, like not do. Like you would think it's in their interest to at least do the things that cost them nothing. Like
like a retweet.
You would think.
You could have a second tweet about the book. You just
One would think.
Marshall, I will tell you, it's like all the stuff that we do for this podcast, all the authors that we feature, I always tag the publishers. And there are certain publishers, I'm not going to name names, but they will like the tweet or like the post, and they will not repost it. And I'm like, you could have like literally
That's just no reaction.
like it just frustrates me to no end. And it's kind of like, here's just like, you know, all of these different factors that could contribute to even just like an inkling more of success for your author and their book or whatever. And you're putting so much more onus on them because, you know, no shade to like marketing departments and stuff like that. I'm not exactly sure how it works, but I feel like if someone is going to take the time to like something, then at the very least you could just repost it.
It's just one more
click the thing right next to it.
It costs nothing.
But like also,
actually, Marshall, it does. My mitochondria has to work a tiny bit more to move my finger to the right.
But I imagine also,
Cass said something earlier.
I was gonna say, you have some guests who you got because the marketer from the publishing house reached out to you.
Yes.
And so you would think they took that effort. Mm-hmm. You would think that now that this thing is there, they would then take that extra step.
Cass, I would hope that they do this at their computer as they email me or text me or something like that. Greta, go for it.
But you said something earlier, Cass, that I kind of wanted to touch on because I think this whole idea of having an author brand, I know it gave me hives when I first started out. So for the marketing like gurus that we have here, MJ, and I think Natania, you work in marketing in your real lives, like how do you communicate author brand? What is it? And what should you be trying to do to communicate who you are and what you write to the general public?
So I've given this advice before. If you're doing it and you hate it, don't do it because people can tell. If you are hate tweeting and like I've seen people and I can tell that every single time they're promoting their book, they're just getting more angry and it's very passive aggressive.
Until it gets to the point where it's just like, why the fuck aren't you buying my book?
Or it's so in your face that I'm like, do you do anything other than share pictures of the cover of your book? Because now I don't want to buy your book because it feels really aggressive. Super old school marketing. I like the 80-20 rule. 80% of your feed should be your weird self. That has sold me more books and grown my audience more than anything is me talking about cod pieces and chintz. I happen to find the right people who also happen to really like fantasy retellings and things of that nature. It took me years though to get to that point to like be confident enough myself to be like, I'm a weird, because I grew up ADHD undiagnosed, people just constantly telling me, Natania, nobody's interested in what you have to say. Turns out I just had to find social media to find all the other weirdos.
If the internet has taught us anything, is that your niche has
and then try to be consistent.
Has a viewership or a following or other people who are interested in that same niche.
But it's hard because the models are constantly changing. And I mean, I made a big effort on TikTok and I think I'm too old, but I'm also like, it's more awkward for me to be, I don't know, something about being on video feels like so much more effort than just like spending 6 hours writing a bunch of tweets about something or, skeets, I guess, in this day and age. But then that's the other part too, the fragility of platform is so weird. I'm actually in the process of rebuilding my website and I realized like the blog functionality is a little tiny part. Like it's 99% where to find my books, who I am, how to book me as someone to come talk at your college or whatever. And like, oh, by the way, here's some thoughts that I've also had about stuff because I don't get traffic anymore. Like it used to be that literally organic SEO, it's repetitive, but SEO is what drove people to my blog. It doesn't happen anymore. So you do both have to follow what you love and then be willing to change. And I suck at it lately. Like I open up Blue Sky. I'm like, I have nothing to say. I have nothing. So I don't push myself because I just think it's mostly bread because I got really invested in sourdough over the holiday.
Nice.
Oh, hard same.
I love it.
We can share it. Today,
sorry.
her name is Cindy Lou because we started around Christmas. But my starter has achieved perfection today. Like it was the first day where I was like, no,
oh, very nice.
I've still been cooking with her, but now we're at the point where I'm like, okay, from this point on, we are like another level.
Yeah. Anyway. Natania, just like quick aside, my wife got really into it 3 years ago. We've had the same starter ever since. Her name is Maria, and to the point where my wife is like perfected like a sourdough waffle and pancake recipe, like all this shit. I'm like,
Perfect.
Bagels are my thing right now. I just baked
Yeah.
a bunch of them, and man, my first versus my second batch, it's like I love improving. It's just amazing. So, but
I made a
go follow
croissant
Natania
bread.
for more
there's a
about
whole
that.
other side metaphor about sourdough baking and writing somewhere, but I don't have enough brain power.
It's half baked right now.
As much
My
as I'm a
ideas are
foodie, I could never get into sourdough starters because it's like the same reason I don't have pets. I cannot invest too much time.
I call it my bread child.
In keeping something alive.
It's my bread child. I literally I brought a bagel to my husband who's sick in bed right now, and I said, "Do you want to look at my bread child?"
That sounds like a creepy,
sickness.
like that sounds like the beginning of a horror movie.
Right.
Also,
It's
like, if he's
come take a look
feverish,
at my
that's
bread
going to
child.
be.
He's gonna have weird dreams.
Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah, he's gonna have like a fever.
This is like the
dream
gingerbread
about
man.
starter. Yeah. Jesus. But I will say like an author platform, you know, and like your author presence, much like a starter, takes like so much effort
does.
and time, and it's just like
You
And
have to
sometimes
keep
it
feeding
smells
it.
weird.
really, it
and
can be so exhausting.
Weird.
It smells, yeah, like my author presence smells weird. I hope not. It's all virtual. Jesus.
It's why it's virtual.
Yeah. It's why it's virtual. Yeah, don't come into my
sorry, we were
recording booth.
normal for like
It gets sweaty in the
45 seconds.
sauna.
It gets sweaty in
Yeah.
the sauna. But MJ, give us your advice, like coming from marketing, but you're coming from marketing from like the more like tech side of things. But I think still like so much of it applies to just like broader marketing and creating a brand and all this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's so much different from the marketing that I do for my day job. Because the marketing that I do for my day job, I market business to business tech solutions. I mean, like it's like the driest of the dry. I'm speaking LinkedIn influencer, hustle culture, bro, speak fluently Monday through Friday, 8 to 5.
I'm so sorry.
I know.
I'm right there with you.
I can
Healthcare, but
speak in
B2B.
acronyms with the
Same.
best of them, baby.
Yep.
But I think for like an author brand, there's such an authenticity. It kind of to me is the difference if I'm going to take it to like a little more granular, like when you're talking about creating content for marketing purposes, just in general, you have to be a lot more polished on certain platforms, and a lot of platforms you have to be a lot more authentic. Like TikTok, for example, thrives with just authentic, off the cuff. I just opened the phone and I'm speaking into it right now and I'm going to post it immediately. Like that is something that the algorithm and the audience on that platform really respond well to. Whereas like a more curated clip, like I posted some of the clips, the promotional clips that we post and do quite well on Reels and stuff for this show on TikTok, and nothing, even though I have quite a large following on TikTok, because that's not what the platform's for. So I would say if you're going to build your brand, be as authentic as possible. And when you choose your platforms, just like Natania said, we don't know if any of this does shit, right? So like, don't make yourself do anything you don't like. I have my biggest audience on TikTok. I hate making TikToks. I have stopped posting on TikTok. I don't like it. I don't like it. It's not worth it to me to do that. What I do like is chatting with people about books on longer form stuff like podcasts, which is why I have this, show that I'm a part of with these lovely folks. And then, started the book club too. Like, is that going to sell me any books? I don't know, but it's really fun and I enjoy it, and it might. That's my wishy-washy answer, because it's so different to market an author. You're marketing yourself as a human, which is radically different from
But you
marketing
can't give your whole self away. Like that's the other. Like, I talk about this a lot because, well, I don't know how. I'm not really good at creating a persona for myself. I am who I am. I'm neurodivergent. It's weird for me to like pretend to be Natania author and then like not. But there are some things that I purposefully don't talk about. There are some things like mental health that I talk very candidly about because I know how important that is to me. But I have seen people get burned out because they don't have a filter, and because there can be that parasocial thing. Like even in small groups, I'm not even talking about like huge level fame. It's energy from you, and getting constant feedback can be horrifying.
Well, and on the flip side, you'll get burnt out too, though, right? Like if you're just pretending to be a
Yes.
person online for all day, every day.
I already do that in real life. Come on.
I have to do that at work, you guys. It's tiring. No, but like that would be exhausting. But no, and then I wanna double down too on Natania's 80-20. It's kind of like I do a lot of newsletters for my day job, and in terms of like not like we don't send like 80% batshit newsletters out. But it's like 80% value for the customer, 20% ask from you. If that 90-10 is better. So like people are only gonna enjoy if your entire feed on your socials is just all you promoting your own stuff. I mean, maybe you'll get traction. I don't know, but probably people will start to tune out. Whereas if you just genuinely engage and talk about the things that you like and the books that you enjoy and the hobbies that you have and the weird little niche interests you have, that's going to more likely draw the right audience to you. So when you do make those posts about yourself, your stuff, your books, it's going to actually be people that feel like they have that parasocial relationship with you instead of just feeling like they've
soupçon of parasocial relationship.
like a healthy amount of parasocial.
They see you as a person rather than like
yes, then as a megaphone screaming about books.
Like,
but Tolkien would never. I think about like old school authors. Like he would have died before he had that level of exposure. You know what I mean? Like
but then again, he had like a different avenue as a professor, right?
Completely.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like, you know, he was existing in a more social environment that was academic focused, and
That's who you know.
That like honestly, it's like, and then you're friends with like C.S. Lewis and whoever else, and that's kind of like the orbit that you exist in, and now there's just so many different avenues of talking about yourself, communicating with other people, interacting with other people, ways of selling your books and different platforms and all this kind of stuff. And it's kind of like a bit daunting to figure out like what works for me. And I think even the idea of figuring out I'm going to test a particular platform and see if I like it is in and of itself a daunting prospect, that you're like, oh, I'm going to give TikTok a try. And it's just like, is it not working in 1 week? Is it not working in 4 weeks? How much time do you have to invest in this thing before actual traction starts to catch hold, right?
Dude, that is so real. I remember like right before The Frozen Crown came out, it was like maybe a month, and I was like hugely pregnant, and my stepfather very kindly was like, I heard about this new thing called TikTok that's really selling a lot of books for people. You should join it. And I just burst into tears. I was like, no.
I think at that point, Greta, you were like 8 months pregnant, and it's just like, it's not the time.
I was a live grenade of pregnancy.
You were like,
I can't do it.
Oh, I did TikTok for a little while, and now I'm just like, I keep saying like, oh God, if this romantasy I wrote actually, like, if I get a publisher, am I going to have to get back on TikTok? Am I going to have to, because that's where that audience is?
Whoa!
You were very good at it. Just the algorithm didn't care.
The algorithm didn't like me. Well, algorithms hate me because I'm allergic to having a niche. Because like Natania said, I'm just my weird. I'm my weird self. I absolutely will not hold myself to any kind of like predictable pattern. I won't churn out the same content. It's like, today I saw a turtle. That's what you're going to see now. Like, look at this cool turtle.
And that's the dichotomy. It's like, be authentic, but like, don't be like too authentic. Be like focus in your authenticity.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think the other part of these algorithms that we don't always talk about is you also have a part to play in training your algorithm, because the videos you watch tells TikTok who to send your shit to when you post. So if you're like going down on turtle talk real hard for 3 days, and then you'd like try, that was verbiage. I'm sorry.
That sounded way dirtier than.
No, I love it.
But those might not be your romantasy people. So it's like, oh shit, no, you got to like train your brain to only, I don't know, consume book talk content.
Even if it looks cool, if it has nothing to do with it.
Here's just
right, because if you linger for 4 seconds, you are getting all turtle videos for a month.
Yes.
Yeah. Here's
literally
a trick for people, though.
True.
It's like, create an account that you want to use for your brand, and then create another account that you want to use for yourself as a consumer.
Yeah,
that way
there's doom scrolling.
That way there's no conflict there, because it's like, I have the podcast and like blogging, YouTube stuff, but then my actual YouTube is like, here's the stuff that I actually want to watch, and it's not going to just like mess with the algorithm and whatever. And I don't know exactly how each of these platforms handles like what you watch versus who they send your stuff to. The way TikTok
it's all
does.
in a black box. They don't
But,
tell you what the
yeah.
algorithm, you know? Yeah.
Which is just like the void of this stupid social media stuff. But it's like kind of a difficult thing to be like, here's my authentic self. But like you said, Marshall, it's like, can't be too authentic.
No.
You know, can't show too much
Yeah.
of yourself. And there's like, people are going to be like, or something. I don't know. But like, I think there are certain avenues where authors will need to speak about themselves and speak about their writing that offer kind of a broader window for them to show their more authentic self. And I think like interviews are definitely an opportunity for that. Because it's been so fun in my author career to do interviews and to do live streams and stuff like that, and see people in the chat respond and be like, bought a copy or something like that. Like, love listening to you talk about like mushrooms or some weird shit like that. And the fact that like what we've been talking about, there are niches that we love, and there are so many people that also share that passion for that particular niche. And so it's like, if I'm doing an interview and someone really loves mushrooms and they're like, oh, here's this guy who loves mushrooms and he wrote a book about like urban fantasy mushroom noir. Cool, I'm gonna go check it out. That sounds like weird as hell. And
I mean, that
maybe
is
up my alley,
the dream,
you know,
of that
right.
sort of organic level
Yeah.
of marketing as
literally organic when it's
like,
mushrooms.
Yeah, when it's mushrooms, true.
Infestation.
But, I mean, that has been the joy of doing our podcast for the past 7 years or so, is that we get to have these really fun, cool conversations with other cool authors that expand our own brains and make us be like, and create community. And I think community is really the big secret weapon there, which is why, I mean, that's why also I made such a big deal of sort of taking over the programming of my local home con, so that I could be like, I'm gonna get as many cool people here as I can get and make it as interesting a community as I can manage to pull together.
And it's a cool con. Guys, you should go. Armadillo Con. Do it.
Fabulous.
And that's sort of another whole angle on the communication as an author thing, is we've been talking a lot about social media, and I think that dominates so much of it. But there are other times and places that we do have to talk about writing and our books and ourselves in the process and whatever. And I love those. I am that freakish thing, an extroverted writer. I like being around people. I like talking to people. I love
Tanya's just shaking her head.
And Marshall as well. I know.
Weird.
I am not, but I can turn it on in those occasions.
Oh, you
and
yeah.
You
are.
enjoy it,
Don't
Marshall.
just shut up. You are. You're
You
more than I am.
get energy from being around
You
people.
do. You do.
I'm
I'm also a
don't.
teacher, so like I have that in my background as well. I love doing in-person events. I wish I could do more. I wish I had the money and the PTO to travel to more, even just the small regional conventions where it's like, here's 4 definitely not, George R. R. Martin level authors. Here's 4 people, but they're going to talk about. We're going to yell about corsets for an hour. I'm like, excellent. There.
Sign me up.
Let's go. And you get weird, like small cons, especially well-run ones like Armadillo Con, you will get those niche topics. You get to have your like special interest topics.
Mm-hmm.
It's not giving the same interview over and over and over again. You can be more of yourself if you find the right places, the right venues to be that. And the good cons are like that. The fun ones are like that.
Yeah, I mean, even this collaboration started because we ran into you guys backstage before we had our panel at WorldCon.
Yeah.
And so it's like that energy of like our interaction, we always say that Greta's our good luck charm, but like you guys are also our good luck charm as well.
But there's a lot to be said for it. And I think that like, even though, so much, whenever people are like, oh, how did you get published? I'm like, there's no way on earth anyone could ever replicate my journey, because it was completely like, it was just cuckoo. It was very much I had stuff available when it was time versus the me going out and doing it the traditional way. But so much of that was just not being an asshole. I'm sorry. Are we not like, there's a lot of that.
Is this a swearing podcast?
Oh, that's a swearing.
We swear, yeah.
Because I feel like I've known a few people who are like, I just don't understand why I can't blank, blank, blank. I'm like, because you're a jerk and nobody wants to work with you. Like, I mean,
the jerk energy exudes off of you.
Really does.
Yeah.
It really does. But
Bad
like,
vibes.
I was super lucky that early on, and I was doing it through blogging versus podcasting, but I got to interview a lot of great authors really early on in my career. They also gave me great advice just off recording, like just also painted a picture of the reality of being an author instead of like what I mean. I really thought like, oh my gosh, this means that like if I sell
Dimples
one
and
book, I
rose-colored
can
glasses.
retire. Right?
Remember when we were starry-eyed like that?
Oh,
I worked at Barnes and Noble, and I
yes.
remember walking down the aisles and just going, all I need is one book.
all of these people
Oh
must
my
be
God.
so happy and rich.
Marshall, you
Right?
must be a billionaire.
Millionaires, all.
The amount of people who presume that just because, like, well, because you have many, clearly, and no.
Well, I mean, they see your vests. Like,
Oh,
True.
well,
That's
wow,
fair.
that's valid.
That's
that's
fair.
obviously.
If you're snazzy.
But you were saying too about like community and building that. There's a quality versus quantity. I think sometimes like social media, you might get a lot of quantity, but I have gotten some of my best quality, both like trade level interactions with other writers and editors and things like that, but also with readers and fans, folks who have heard me talk at a convention, didn't know who I was before, but found me charming and decided to, start following me for that reason. And like now I see them at multiple cons and I know they're following my books. We have a conversation. I'll be like, oh, hey, yeah. How'd the cosplay, you were in the cosplay contest, right? How'd the masquerade go? Building that, I feel like long-term has to be more valuable than getting 5,000 people to follow you who
Absolutely
don't
is.
actually care, like who
Yeah.
just sort
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
hit and run.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Because we
kinda
know
like,
that
You're never going
Go
to get from social media the same power you get in an actual interaction in person.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's
I mean, I will
Well-
say this as like a marketing term that a lot of the emails we receive come with. Speaking of social media following, TikTok sensation is the bane of my existence because TikTok following
Yeah.
TikTok following
Every
does
book
not,
is a TikTok sensation.
dude, it's insane. But like a TikTok following does not equate to direct sales. A TikTok following does not equate to every follower being a reader. And the thing is like going to conventions and doing these things in person. It could be, doing an interview. It could be doing a panel. It could be doing a workshop. It could be doing cosplay. It could be being a vendor and selling your books at the convention and being able to interact with people and sell them on your book and talk to them and get to know them as people, Those kinds of interactions go such a long way because someone, like at Worldcon, I moderated a panel on tattooing in SFF. And afterwards, someone came up to me and was just like, hey, I've got this like tattoo magic system in my fantasy work in progress. Would you be willing to chat with me about it? And basically, like we exchanged contact info and ended up having like 2 Zoom calls where we just talked about her book and talked about her world and talked about her magic system and all this kind of stuff. And I was basically like, giving her the DL on tattoos and how it could apply to her world kind of thing. And like that's the kind of interaction that I was able to have because we met at a convention. And then the reverse of that is like when I went to World Fantasy Con in Brighton last October, I met in person patrons of the podcast from our Patreon and met them in person. And it was like
Which, hey,
Dave,
patrons,
like shout out
by
to,
the way.
shout out to
Yeah, I was
David and
gonna
We
Maria.
love
say,
you.
You're probably watching.
And it was just so cool to be able to be like, okay, here we've had all these like interactions online and everything like that. And they were like, I just ran into them dozens of times during the convention. It made me smile every time we ran into each other and we hung out, we had drinks and just chatting and that kind of stuff. And it's like, there are multiple ways that these kinds of interactions can occur. But if you are communicating about your writing, you're also communicating about yourself and you're also conveying who you are as a person. It's like, if you are an asshole, nobody's going to want to hang out with you or talk to you or buy your book. But if you are a genuine person and you're able to form these connections with people in person or online and then have the opportunity to expand that relationship, it's a really beautiful thing.
Yeah. Well, and like to the point, like obviously live events when you can go to the big cons and stuff. Like obviously we went to WorldCon last year, you went to World Fantasy Con, but like I do some local like table selling events,
Yeah,
right? Where it's
like fairs and stuff like that.
yeah,
Or like local library.
Yep.
Local libraries.
100%. So it's like even if you don't have the budget to like do a big event, like some of the like I've done table events at local libraries where you know you're hand selling your book and meeting local readers, and they don't even charge a table fee. Like, are you selling hundreds of books? No, you might sell 5, but you're talking to a lot of people, and then it's kind of nice too because I've made friends, like local author friends, that way because in the slow times you're chatting with the folks around you at the tables. So that's what whenever people are like, oh, how do you market your books, like how are you doing it, are you doing the social, are you doing it? I'm like, I'm trying to do social, but I always say I do the podcast and I like to do a lot of as many live local events as I possibly can, because those are the things that I pick. But of course, those are going to be live events are going to be a nightmare for someone listening to this. If you have like extreme social anxiety and you're like, talking in front of a crowd makes me want to throw up everything I've ever eaten, then like maybe that's not your approach, and that's totally okay. You know what I mean? Like I think it's like it's kind of like when we talk to authors and how no author, I don't think any 2 authors we've spoken to have had the same path to publication. It's like there's no one size fits all, like just
and there's no easy answer.
There's no easy answer, and there's also, to the point that I think most of us have made at least once so far in this conversation, there's no proof that any of it like really works.
Nothing works.
I mean, this is the thing we want.
Like, what do you
answers,
enjoy?
But the algorithm's like, no.
But that's the thing. It's like, what do you enjoy? I think that's like, for me, that has been the point. I went through a period of time where vulnerable MJ moment, but like there was like a couple years after my book came out when it didn't become a runaway success and I didn't immediately get to quit my day job and go travel the world, and I got really down. Like I was still writing, I was fine, but I was sad, like in my soul. And the point when I like recovered and was like, oh no, I do love this again, and I just rediscovered my love for it, was when I stopped trying to fit my author career, my author life, my author reality into the box of what my expectations had been. And I started just focusing on the shit that I love. And the shit that I love is talking to cool people about cool books, reading cool books, and writing batshit stuff. And I just, once I started getting back to that, it was like, okay, I'm having fun in this again. So that's like, I guess, more mental health tip
but
than
it's
it
so
is.
true
But
because you have to learn to be kind to yourself, because success, I think in any field, it's such a moving target. I mean, 7 years ago, I would have been like, man, just having one book published, that's all I want. That would be my dream. And guess what? I'm 3 books in, and hopefully more will come. But the dream, like the target has changed.
Mhm.
Like
so
moving
just be
goalposts.
kind to yourself. Yeah, the goalpost moves all the time.
It is.
Don't also
and just trying to
compare.
understand what like a novelist's career looks like.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, if you
And
look at a
what it
lot
looks
of
like
novelists,
now.
some of them have had like
Or
5 careers.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Look at Martha Wells, who
Yeah.
like whose career
Yeah.
almost imploded like 5 times over the course of things, and
Yeah.
almost quit 9 times over the course of things. But
I mean, I didn't know that Alexander Skarsgård being in an adaptation of one of my books it's a bucket list, but apparently it is now.
like you
because of
add
her.
new things
Is
to the
now.
bucket list every
But
year.
I think
Right.
I think to Marshall's point though, it's like, are you chasing virality or are you chasing a career? Are you, because it's so much harder, honestly, to sustain your career with your mental health and your family and your job and politics and the world around you, and to just keep fucking writing, than it is to search for this. I mean, and I've seen it. I've seen people get TikTok famous or whatever and fall apart because they had one book and then they did the follow-up and it was rushed and it wasn't good and readers were mad. And like, that's a huge, I'd rather a much slower trajectory.
Or,
Sorry,
I mean,
cat.
I've seen it.
Cat
I know, I was going to
doesn't-
say, can we
Your-
see the
your
cat?
cat- your
Can you
cat-
please hold the
Yes.
cat up?
Okay.
I will
I
hold
keep
the
seeing
cat.
the tail.
Go watch, because your cat was literally like tickling
Daily
your neck.
Salem.
Look at this baby.
She's so precious.
Oh, she gave us a slow blink. She loves us all.
She does. She's,
Okay.
Yay.
Anyways,
she's,
sorry.
I am her person. So she's like, you're talking and clearly you're talking to me. But yes.
But
I
I've seen
imprinted
it
on her.
so many times where like somebody goes viral, usually for something angry, and then because of that they get noticed and their book starts selling, and then they're like, I have to like maintain anger over nothing
Mhm.
to maintain my existence in the
Yeah.
world.
Sounds
And
exhausting.
you can see
Right?
how that's like
That would just
wrecking
wear
their
on
soul.
you.
No,
just to
because
do it.
Yeah.
that's a huge part of it is like, if you are looking to be a long-term author, if you're looking at this as like a career for maybe not life, but for like a decade, 2 decades, like however long you're looking at this, is like the way that you communicate about yourself and about your work is directly tied into how sustainable this career is going to be for you. And it's like, I've come to this realization over the last few months is I don't necessarily want to like go like all in as like I'm an author and blah blah blah, like super gung-ho about just like that's my only thing, because it's like, no, my entire adult life has been multidisciplinary. And so it's kind of like I'm doing the podcast, I'm doing book design, I'm editing anthologies and doing crowdfunding and Kickstarter, and I'm writing and publishing my own stuff. But all of that kind of ties into this idea that I am wearing multiple hats and exploring my creativity through different avenues within a single industry. So it's like you can find ways to make this thing sustainable for you. And for a lot of people, it's like writing is not their full-time job. I think for the vast majority of authors, writing is not their full-time job. And so it's like if you're working a 9 to 5, if you're working a day job and you're pouring your heart into your writing, and you have to do social media, and you have to like communicate about yourself and your work and all this different kind of stuff, it's exhausting. Like it's so exhausting, and it's really easy to burn yourself out. And so it's also thinking about like, how can I, you know, convey to an audience, whichever platform it may be, whichever medium you might do it through, how can I convey to them my passion for this thing that I created, while also maintaining a sustainable trajectory that's not going to fucking kill me in like a year or 2 years or something like that, right?
I mean, and it does burn people. I mean, I debuted in 2015. How many other people who debuted in 2015 are still around now, 11 years later? And
yeah, even
you know,
2021, like Greta, like our debut
dropping
group.
like flies.
There's quite a few of us that are kind of
Yeah.
still in the game, but there's a lot of folks that have been like, yo.
But also it's like
good.
2021, 2020 was like rough
Bad.
for dating.
I mean,
Right.
fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't the best of times.
It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. It was only one of them.
Mostly just the worst.
Mostly just the worst.
but also,
Oh.
I mean, how many authors like get their debut, have the duology or trilogy or whatever that first contract was, and then that's it.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that
for how
could
many
Well,
of
there
them-
was
just come
those
down
like
to, like, market
statistics
forces,
wandering
right?
around.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there were those statistics wandering around a couple years ago. Like, I don't know, like 50% of authors quit after 3 books, and it's like 90
It's worse.
quit after 6.
It's like after
It's like-
one, like the act.
Yeah.
It's horrible. It's like most people who publish one book.
Yeah.
Though I mean, a
But
lot
I
of
guess
those
like
are
don't
like
be afraid
those,
to pivot.
And then there's
Yeah.
those
Marshall, who just
nonfiction books
just
where
that's
it's
everything.
that person
Everything.
wrote their life's work. Here's that book. Like,
Marshall's
I don't-
the curve destroyer in the quiz, right, in college.
I mean, I did this on Twitter, and I reposted it on Blue Sky not too long ago, of like looking at my debut year and like what those people did, and I'm like, it's like this many people had 1 book, this many people had 2 books, and blah. And I'm like, and this, okay, I am the curve blower because there's one person who had 17, and it's me. But
Marshall, you're
like,
like,
wow,
you're
this
like,
one guy.
yeah, you're like my son when he was my oldest when he was a baby, and it was just like he was like so chubby and his head was so big, and the pediatrician was always just like outside the curve. Outside the curve.
I was wondering where you were going with that.
There was like
Marshall.
just
Marshall is
Oh.
author George. He's an outlier and should not be. He's books George.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Okay, so something I wanted to touch upon. MJ, you brought up how, okay, you know, some of us might be more extroverted than others, and many of the people listening to this might be like, the idea of doing an interview, the idea of doing a panel or going to a convention is just like
Trauma.
traumatizing. It's just, you know, it's something that they would rather die than do that thing. But I
I
think
mean,
they're
in
kind of
running
like,
in running Armadillo Con stuff, there's been like, oh, you're a new debut. Why
Yeah.
don't you come to this? And they're like, no. No, thank you.
Right.
No, thank you.
It is really terrifying, but I think
I'm not prepared to talk in front of people.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, it ties back into one of, I think, probably statistically, one of the biggest fears that human beings have is public speaking. And so it's really difficult to say, like, just go do it, like do the thing and you'll get better and blah, blah, blah. It's like, but there are approaches that authors can take to talk more effectively about their writing, about themselves and stuff like that, and how to be a good interviewee. I know, like, we've all interviewed people where it's just like, you can kind of tell they're struggling a little bit, and there's no shade to them or anything like that. It's like,
we don't know what you're talking about.
I have some I'd throw shade at.
Never ever had that happen before.
I never had that happen, and Cass did not make that face for any reason.
Not at all. No.
But what kind of tips can we offer to people who want to kind of maybe take that step to talk more about themselves, talk about their books, talk about their writing and that kind of thing, and not completely
Barf.
fumble and
I
barf?
have one sneaky tip for like cons and stuff. If you want to go to a con, you're a debut author and you're scared to talk on a panel, just don't sign up for any panels and just go to the con and like just talk to people. Like just one-on-one, talk to people and like show up to the, the bar hangouts, or go sit in on a panel and then go chat with the authors on it after. I did that, for several cons. You still get a lot of value out of it, and it lets you kind of test out, feel the waters on talking about yourself, talking and presenting yourself as an author in those settings or as a writer in those settings, without having to stare down a bunch of chairs that are facing you.
The other thing too is, don't be afraid to ask for the questions ahead of time. Like, especially if it's an interview with, I think, us, and for you guys, like, it's okay if you get tongue-tied when someone asks you a question off the cuff, but most of the time, like, your interviewer kind of knows the questions that they're probably going to ask. And so you can just say, hey, I have a little bit of a phobia of public speaking, but I'm really excited to be on your show. Can you just like give me an idea of what you're going to ask so I can prepare properly? Because we want you to succeed when you come onto our show so badly. So like anything we can do to help, we will absolutely do.
Yeah.
And that's,
we've gotten
I think,
into the habit of sending questions, just like whether they ask or not.
Yeah, just default.
Here,
Yeah.
we do
if
our
you
little
wanna
outline.
Check them out. Yeah.
The other thing with that is practice. This was part of my former career when I worked at the Shakespeare Center. We did leadership seminars, and a lot of that was about the fear of public speaking and getting over that and being able to own your voice, own the space. And so much of that is just practice and getting comfortable with it. So practice your introduction. All the little intros we all just did at the top of, the episode. It's like, we've said those a few times. And so now it's easier to sort of rattle them off. But also, once again, practicing your answers to questions. If you can get the questions ahead of time or even guess what they're going to be, practice it at home. Talk to your cat, talk to your partner, talk to the wall, rubber duck it out. But while you're doing that, time yourself, because time is so much different than you think it is when you're speaking. It sounds so it's simultaneously like a silence sounds so much longer in your head than it does to anybody in front of you. But also, a minute is actually not that much time. So if if I speak for 1 minute, that's plenty of speaking. If you time yourself doing it, you'll quickly realize oh, that's actually not that many words that I have to figure out how to get out. Practice your body, because so many people are like, I suddenly don't know what to do with my hands. I'm in front of people. What are these things at the end of my arm?
It helps if you're doing it virtually. You can do whatever the fuck you want below.
Yeah, in front of people. Practice stick it in a pocket if you have to. Hold them in front of you. Hold them behind you. It's all these things. It's just the more you do it, the more it will become muscle memory, the more comfortable it will become. And eventually you'll be ready to do it in front of strangers. And also the other thing to remember is that lots of if you go to a small con, there's a decent chance there's going to be 6 people in the room.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
That's very fair.
Lower bar of terrifying.
Well, and I think too that everyone's
different kind of terrifying.
But everyone's shy and awkward, or most people are so in their own heads that they're not thinking about you. I am not an extrovert, but I also don't care what people think about me. So I think sometimes people think I'm extroverted because but it's I deliberately had a moment in my life where it's I don't care.
Natania.
I am. It's all the fancy patterns and silks that I live with. but it's but my husband is very like overly social aware. And I remember even when we were first dating, I was like, no one's thinking about, like, I'm thinking about you. I'm looking like I'm in love with you. So like but like an average person doesn't give a shit about you. Like, and I'm not saying that in a mean way. It's just like, you don't have to.
They've got their own thing going on.
We are all so absorbed in our own selves. And the people that are going out of their way to be jerks to you have a lot more problems. Like,
right. And like, do you care about their opinion anyway?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
But also theater class. Like, I mean, I think that's, like I did so much theater when I was young that I don't have nerves anymore. So part of me is like, what is it like to feel nervous before a thing? 'Cause I literally don't know anymore. So I think that part of it is just, it's like nerve memory. It's learning, like you said, practice, learn to do it again, put yourself, if you can, it gets less scary for most people.
I mean, that's pretty much what theater training is. Like a good chunk of that. Like they make fun of this in the one song in a chorus line of like, oh, I went to this acting class. And they're like, pretend you're on a bobsled. Pretend you're an ice cream cone melting. And it's like, what is the point of that? Like the point of those is to get you out of your own head and to be like, and not care that you look ridiculous.
Yeah, it's to
break your dignity enough that you
right, that you can
that you have no
anything.
fear any longer.
If high school didn't do that already, then
right.
But it's like so much of it is like, the way that you speak to other people and your speech patterns and stuff like that. Like you can like record yourself, just like if you go out for dinner with friends, just put your phone on the table and then listen back at the end of the day. I mean, probably tell them that you're going to record.
Like, Adrian is like
sting
operation on his friends.
Yeah, but listen back to it at the end and then, figure out like, okay, this is my speech pattern. These are things that I and blah and like pause a lot. And, maybe I stumble over my words when I'm not putting effort into what I want to say. Or maybe you have a particular friend and it's like, I love how confident and eloquent this person is when they speak, and think about like, what is it that they do that makes me in a way kind of like attracted to how that person communicates, honestly. And it's like, there are ways that you can practice this. Like if theater and acting can teach us anything, it is that humans are adaptable in the way that they communicate and present themselves. And
I mean,
so many speech
certainly
patterns can be taught, right?
Certainly editing myself audio of the podcast has been a deeply humbling experience.
Yeah.
Looking at our transcript too.
The first 50 episodes, you're like, God, I hate the sound of my own voice. But
the first 50, are we supposed to grow out of that? I haven't.
Yeah. I was going to say, I feel like we could make a drinking game out of how many times I end a question with,
You know?
I just can't stop.
Super Wisconsin there.
It's so Wisconsin.
The number of times I say a complete thought and then just say, and then nothing.
You're just leaving the door open. It's, it's an invitation.
Yeah.
Whereas I start every other sentence with, I mean,
same.
Like it's
hard
very,
same.
But it's cool. It's
but
like
the other thing you can
fascinating that you can like figure these things out about yourself, right?
And you can consciously start reprogramming yourself. I catch more of my ums and uhs than once I did because I learned to just be silent for a second. Because once again, it sounds so much longer in my head than it does to anybody listening. And you can also encode it in your body. And also I cut out those
silences.
Well, you do. You do sometimes. But I also hear myself in other contexts, Marshall. Thank you.
Nope, just this one.
You can encode it in your... You can encode it using your body, too. This is where that acting thing comes in, but it doesn't have to be an acting class. The more you can like if you're doing public speaking in person especially, the more you can center your body, center your weight, ground yourself, it will communicate confidence, even if you're not feeling confident. But it will actually also help you feel more confident. Your body will start to reprogram your brain in that way. It's fake it till you make it, honestly. Like if you act secure and confident, and yes, I know what I'm talking about, you will sound more like that, and eventually you will start feeling more like that.
And the way you sound to yourself, that weirdness is only because of you. It's only because we hear our voices inside of our bodies resonating in our bodies. And it's I mean, if you think about how modern of a situation is, it's like people, they learned to look in mirrors and in water for a long time ago, but hearing your own voice outside of an echo is not something our brains are wired for. And I remember the first time I heard myself recorded as a kid, I was horrified. I was like, I sound like no one I know. I have such a low voice. This is so weird. And now people are like, I love listening to your voice. It's so different. It's so unique. I don't hear a lot of voices like your voice. And that's really cool. But if I had just stopped because I was like, I don't sound like other people, I might not have ever been on. And my first foray into the whole world of writing was through recording my own books as a podcast. So like way back in the day, like 2008. And I mean, it didn't give me fame, but it made me no longer afraid because I was already reading my books out loud anyway. I do that anyway. So capturing that was important, I think.
Yeah. Like nobody else hears your voice the way you do.
No.
And it's so much easier for us to be like, oh, I sound like ass. And everyone else is like, you know, people who are like, I've listened to your podcast every week and, you know, like my husband, you know, has to deal with me like watching you on YouTube while I'm cooking and blah, blah, blah kind of thing. Or like just so many situations where people listen to you over and over and over and over and over again. And it is that parasocial relationship thing coming back.
Yeah.
But the fact that we have these podcasts and we've built these audiences means that despite how our voices resonate within ourselves, our voices resonate with other people in a much different way. And people stick around and they become part of our audience because they like what we're doing. And if people don't like what we're doing or don't like how we sound or whatever, then they'll just piss off and go listen to some other
scroll
podcasts.
on, yeah.
That's totally fine. That's totally
I hear
cool.
there's a few others besides the two of ours.
Yeah.
Just a couple.
Just like one.
A couple big names these days, kind of waiting into that.
One or two at most.
But it's like if you're able to, you know, if you want to start a podcast or if you want to start doing content like that, being comfortable with hearing your own voice, like you're gonna fucking edit yourself in CapCut or like on whatever app that you're using. And it's kind of one of those things that you have to get over because you need to understand that your voice sounds the way it does only to you, and everybody else hears it differently, and everybody else has a different reaction to you and the way you speak. And so it is good to spend some time thinking about, like, you know, how do I speak? How do I sound? You don't have to completely change yourself so that you're like fabricating this, my brother, he's in the British Navy and he had to take like elocution lessons in order to sound British because they can't have a non-British accent on a naval boat.
That's
right.
Oh,
amazing.
I love that.
And the first time he calls me, he's like, "Hello,
I would have
Adrian."
wanted
And I was
that.
just like, my mind exploded, and I was like, "Who are you?" And it's like, "It's
You're
your
like,
brother."
what?
And I'm like, "This is like,"
You're like, "No, it's not."
So-
balls right now.
I'm so charmed by that. So completely charmed
It's,
by that.
it's like no, but that is like, and 25 years later, he still speaks with that accent. It's even stronger now, and it's kind of one of those things where it's like you can. You know, and he fulfilled his dream of like becoming James Bond or whatever the fuck. You can train your body to do so many things, and whether it's accents, whether it's the speech patterns that you have, whether it's the ways that you pause in the middle of your sentences and all those kinds of things, and getting rid of the ums and whatever else it may be. There are ways that you can kind of ease into it and become more comfortable with it, and just know that your voice sounds the worst to you.
Yep.
And everybody else will hear it differently.
I think there's also something to be said. I think Cassie mentioned it a couple times, and I think it's worth repeating. Don't be afraid of silence. I think we've all interviewed guests who just could not handle silence, and therefore they just ended up speaking the entire time.
Yep.
And it's like, I'm trying to ask you a question, but I can't leap in here.
Yep.
So it's okay.
A pause is
Take
totally
a breath.
fine. Yeah.
A pause is okay. You will get another turn to talk, especially on panels too.
Yeah.
This is really important.
Yeah,
Everyone on a
100%.
panel is going to get a chance to talk, a chance to shine. But if you're that asshole that's talking the whole time, you're not going to get any readers. You're just going to get a bunch of people like, dude, shut up.
You're like, whoa, that guy would not stop talking.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. MJ's just like specific panel at Worldcon.
We've all been on panels with that guy, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about. Adrian.
Usually that guy too. but-
Usually, not always. I've had a couple of that lady, but
I've had a few with that lady.
I feel
I
like
remember one
you have to tell us
that
like
was-
off the recording about like, because there's like a lady and a guy.
But that is something that can also come. Like sometimes that's ego, and you can usually tell when it's ego. sometimes I do think it is coming from a nervous place. And especially I see this when they're talking about their work on a panel, but they're going into way too much detail. Like they're giving us all the characters and the plot. And it's like, no one in the audience is going to retain enough of that. Cut to the chase, cut to the bit that's important for this. Don't give them all the character names even. Just say, my protagonist follows this arc because this theme was important to me. You don't need to chart all the beats in that context because that's going to take way too much time and no one's going to retain it. Like no one in that room
query for the editors and the
yeah. I mean it's like a back cover blurb versus like a query for an agent. You know, it's like the agent wants to know every beat. The back just has to sell the reader. That's it. You don't have to
give us your elevator pitch, man. I think we've all learned that, and it's frustrating, I think, because everything has become an elevator pitch. It's this meets this in a new way, right? But that's how our culture talks right now. There's so much media out there that you have to have these touch points. And that's another part of your presence. Like figure out how to sell your book in a succinct way.
It was so funny. I did some tabling at the Carolina Renaissance Festival 2 years ago. It was so much fun. But I realized as I was doing it that I had a 3-tier pitch. I had the first log line, and if they kept looking at me and kept seeming interested, I went to the next bit. And then if they were still there, I'd go into a little more detail and we could start actually having a conversation. But it was like, I was very conscious of like, I'm saying these exact words every time. And then a little bit more if they haven't moved on. And then some more. That is part of just sort of being a responsive human in space in these things. And it's important in an interview, as a one-on-one conversation, as on a panel.
Yeah, well, and that's a great thing for those table events too, Cass, because I do the exact same thing. Like you make eye contact with the person, you throw out the quick thing, and then you have a little more, and then but the only reason why I also have that same rhythm is because I've done like a dozen table events in the last 2 years. You know what I mean? So that is, I think, if you want to get some more of those reps in of learning your elevator pitch, but also just getting comfortable speaking to another person. Because when people are coming around to table events, like they're stopping at your table because they're, I don't know, planning to talk to you for 30 seconds or a minute. Like it's a good place to shake out those nerves about, again, like kind of like the attending a con but not doing a panel. Like if you need baby steps, maybe just attend cons and talk to people in a social setting. Then once you're like feeling kind of okay about that, now maybe you do a local table event at the library and you talk to some local readers and you get your elevator pitch down. And then once you get kind of comfortable with that, like if you're very nervous public speaking, right? Like I feel like this could be a really good granular way to step yourself up to be like, okay, now I'm ready to go on a podcast. Now I'm ready, because I've got these reps in and I like have these scripts running through my brain already and I feel ready to go. So yeah, no, I love that, Cass. That's so funny though, because I do exactly the same
It's a 3-tier system. It really is.
Yeah.
Like
even if you mess up, though,
and also
there's no stakes, honestly. Like like the worst possible scenario is that person's like, I won't buy your book. And it's like,
no, then they forget you immediately.
Exactly.
Like they're not going to
Then
remember.
they're on to the next table and they're talking to another person, and that's it.
And if you're doing a table event and not like a signing, but you're at a local festival that's small and you find that no one's coming up to your table, are you standing up? Because at least at my experience, people are so much more likely to come and talk to me if I am standing up and like looking interested.
Yeah,
Look like you're engaged.
Yeah, like I'll like literally
look at the back of your phone.
I'll like reach out to the crowd and be like, "Oh my god, I love your shirt!" Like, and then they'll come over and talk to me. And it's not like I'm being manipulative. I don't say it if I don't actually like their shirt.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but you know what I mean? But if I like their shirt and saying that could initiate a conversation.
Yeah. Cons are great for that because people in cosplay, like, is it a fandom you have in common? Can you start someplace other than your book to engage? And maybe that's an avenue in.
Yep. I love it.
Yeah, because those are the situations where the people are going to meet you. And then everything else is just an extension of that. Be like, oh, so-and-so is awesome. Maybe I'll check out their book as well. Or like whatever else they do. Maybe I'll listen to their podcast, et cetera, et cetera. It's kind of like, if you're awkward or a dick, then that person's going to be like, okay, well, I don't care that this dick wrote a book. He sucks.
Especially if you're like that.
Sucks.
Just like a human-shaped golem that is just talking about book.
Oh my god!
Like you don't have any personality other than I have a book. You
sell
must
book,
buy
it.
Right? Buy it. Oh my god! All right. So once people get comfortable, this is a thing that has been really interesting for us because we always end our podcasts asking our guests to give a piece of writing advice and then telling us a weird or random fact that they find to be utterly fascinating. But the writing advice thing is like, it's a really interesting experience listening to how people respond to that, because some people are just like, well, my, like, it's kind of like, is the advice too prescriptive kind of thing, or is any advice really worth listening to? And I feel like when it comes down to, I'm going to listen to an author speak about writing, a lot of it is like, I want to hear about their career path, I want to hear about their writing process, I want to hear about their approaches to doing X, Y, and Z, and advice is just kind of like sprinkled throughout that little interview cake. And some people are really, really good at giving advice, and some people are really, really dogmatic. And I think it would be useful for us to kind of share. We don't have to share our advice about it, but we can just share our thoughts or opinions about how authors can avoid being dogmatic or prescriptive when they are talking about their writing, because there is no one path that works. There is no one process that works. And then kind of allowing others to just kind of like learn from your experiences and your mistakes.
I mean, the main thing I always say when I'm like giving writing advice is like, I cannot tell you what to put in your writing toolbox. All I can do is show you my toolbox and say, here, rifle through this and find the things you like.
Mm-hmm. Find that tool, find that really cool tool that like.
I love that metaphor. Yeah. Yeah.
It's the same one I use. It's one we used when I was teaching Shakespeare too, like about acting. You might try a tool and find out it doesn't work for you, and that's okay. You're allowed to pick up a tool, use it once and go, no, and find something else. Or maybe it doesn't work for this project, but maybe it works for a different project. So you keep it in the toolbox and you pull it out when you need it. I think the thing, like anyone who tells you that they have the one right way to write anything is wrong.
Yep.
They're wrong.
Or the guaranteed to
I've tried to avoid throwing shade during this panel, but I feel like I have to I have to throw shade at Stephen King for his book on writing, where it's just like,
he's safe to throw shade at. That's punching up, I think.
That is
I
like
think his career is pretty safe at this point. Yeah.
I do think like, that book just has poisoned a lot of people.
I didn't use an adverb for like 4 years after
and he uses them all the time.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I think my favorite advice. Oh, I'm sorry. You can go, Natania.
Oh no, you go ahead.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, I think my favorite like advice that people give usually tends to be, I think Adrian, you mentioned this, like in reference to their own mistakes, or like, man, I really wish I had known this when I started out, because I really, fucked myself over when I did writing this way. And this is how I corrected the mistake or changed course, because it not only does it let the audience know that you are a human who makes mistakes, but it also is kind of that subconscious reminder that this business is hard and there's a lot of luck involved, but more than anything, it's just sheer freaking stubbornness and not giving up and being too thick-headed to quit.
Yep. Oh, spite is a fantastic
spite is
motivator.
So powerful.
It really is, but it's also, and that's kind of like my advice is always just do the work. Do the work. Write the book. Write the next book. Write the book. And I think it was at WorldCon where someone asked me something like, I have this book and I keep going back to it, and it's been like years and years. And I said, well, write another book. And I could just see the blood drain from his face. And I was like, I'm really sorry to say this, but like, if it is causing you this much stress and you're not getting where you need to get with it, and I had that. My first book, I rewrote it like 7 times. I was growing so fast as an author that I had to keep coming back to it. But if you do the work, I mean, I've also heard of people like, I met this amazing editor. We got along really well. And he was like, well, do you have a book to send me? And he was like, I didn't have a book to send him. And that's a good example of like, if you're not doing the work, you can talk the best game in the world and make all but if you don't have anything to share, it's not going to go anywhere. And that's a hard thing. And I always go back to my favorite quote from Amy Poehler, which is, your career is like a bad boyfriend. The more that you pursue it, the more it's going to run away. And it's so about doing the work and being ready versus trying every morning, I'm going to be the next best-selling USA Today author or whatever.
Yeah.
You can always spot the people who don't want to do the work.
Yeah.
And
you mean writing AI books?
That's the
writing
newest,
AI books.
That's the newest iteration, but you can always spot the people who don't want to write a book. They want to have written a book.
Yes.
And
or publish a book, which these days you can actually
they want
do
to publish
easy.
a book and not actually write. Like I remember seeing on Threads not too long ago, somebody being like, is it too soon for me to query this agent because they're my dream agent? They just went open to queries, but I've only written about 10,000 words. Like, yeah, it's too soon.
Yeah.
Write the damn book.
Oh, honey.
Like, don't shoot yourself in the foot. What are you doing? Yeah. No, but Natania, to your point of the person that has been working on the same book for 10 years, 12 years, whatever. Like, and then you do, because I've had that same conversation where it's like, okay, well, write a new one, write a second one, write another one. Or like they've been querying the same project forever and it's not getting picked up. Okay, we'll write another one. And then they like kind of balk at it. And my answer is, and I stole this from a blog and I can't remember whose blog it was because I read it in like 2012. But it was like, if you were going to be a career writer, you were always going to write another book eventually.
Right?
Anyways. Mm-hmm. So just do that now.
Yeah, exactly.
And presumably you enjoy the thing is the thing. That's another Amy Poehler quote. Like the thing is the thing. It's not, it's doing it that should be giving you enough joy or revenge feelings or whatever it is that you get from it.
Back to the spike.
It doesn't have to be joy. It can also just feel like you said I could never write a fucking book. Well, I wrote a fucking book and then I wrote another one.
Yeah.
But if you're miserable the whole time you're doing it,
why are you doing it?
Yeah.
Because it's not for the money.
But speaking, it's not.
I mean, that applies to like
writing the next book,
any creative endeavor too.
Yeah. But speaking of writing the next book, and unless you're pursuing indie, this might be different. But if you're pursuing trad, the second book cannot be your sequel before the first book is sold. Mm-hmm. That's a waste of time.
Girl, that's a mistake I made. Don't be me. Circa 2021.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. If you've like just been writing that same book over and over again and polishing it for 10 years to make it this perfect thing, you didn't learn how to write a book. You learned how to write that book.
That book. Yeah.
And that's not a transferable skill to something else. I mean,
which is tragic.
I'm gonna read. This is from the foreword of Mushroom Blues by my friend Nicholas Eames, who you may know from his book Kings of the Wild. But this is what he wrote in his foreword, and it applies directly to what we were all saying. And this is someone I've known for a really long time, and so it's really cool to watch his publishing career. But he said, "We used to work together at a restaurant in Vancouver. Back then I was slogging away on my first novel, a bloated monstrosity you will thankfully never see on a bookstore shelf. I spent more than 10 years writing and rewriting that cursed tome, and if there's one thing that sustained me throughout that creative ordeal is the generous support of friends like Adrian, who always asked me how the book was coming along and who believed wholeheartedly that my dream of being a published author would someday come true. He did not publish that bloated monstrosity. He wrote the next fucking book, and that was Kings of the Wild, and that's the one he got an agent with, and that's the one he ended up publishing. So just understand that it's like, even if you see someone who has had success or, has reached this level that you can aspire to, just know how many fucking bloated monstrosities they had to get through to
there's
get
no
to
such
that
thing
point,
as
right?
an overnight success in publishing.
No, at all. And so it's like, just learn from the mistakes of other people, but also learn from your own mistakes and understand that it's just like, if I'm just slogging through this, and this just like applies to anything in life, it's like relationships, jobs, whatever it is that you may be doing, like, don't like bang your head against a wall and think that everything's working.
No, I love that, because that's actually, there's a metaphor that I use in life advice for people all the time, but it works for books too, where I like to conceptualize my life and my existence as like a maze. And when I say a maze, I mean like one of those little ones that's on the table at the restaurant for the kids to do with the crayons, right? And
I was thinking like labyrinthine,
MJ
like
does it every time.
Nope.
There's no Minotaur.
If there's
in there
crayons
anywhere.
available on the table, absolutely I'm doing it every time.
I'm doing that maze.
But now let's say you're going through this maze and you've hit a wall. so many people in a real life scenario are going to just continue beating on that
They
wall
are.
to try to knock it down.
Yeah.
And maybe you'll end up knocking it down eventually. But sometimes genuinely in life, in writing, in everything, the best course of action to move forward is to take a few steps backwards and recalibrate
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
take a new direction.
And to have friends. And that's
yeah.
what Adrian was pointing out. Seriously, like watching the like
Friends
Cass
who
and
can tell
Marshall
you to
have
fucking
this
check yourself,
magical
right?
push and pull relationship to keep each other honest and to keep each other writing. And it's beautiful having,
Yeah.
and for years I have this, we
Constant
don't talk as
harassment.
much as we used to, but I had a writing group when I first started and we were intense and we still check up on each other. And it's been 18 years, like a huge amount of time. And some of us had agents then and then don't now. Some of them, we're all over the place in terms of who we are. But knowing that that's a wall, sometimes you need a friend to be like, hey, that wall's not going anywhere.
Like that's a
You're
wall.
not you're not
You
you're not
gotta-
the Incredible Hulk. You can't smash that shit down.
right. You are not the Kool-Aid
Yeah.
man.
Kool-Aid man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Chicks. No, yeah.
But like Natania, like MJ, Greta, and I, we have with two other friends. We have. It's not even like a writing critique group. It is called writing support group. It is just writing therapy, and it's just us meeting up every 2 weeks,
Good.
just being like, "How have you been? And what do you want to do? Where do you want to go?"
Aw.
And that's
Mm.
basically all it is. And it's just like
The
sometimes
number
you need that.
of times this past year that I would just text Cass, right, Cass, right.
I'd be like, I am, or I'd be, shut up, leave me alone.
Right. Oh my god, I love it.
I mean, we've got this. We do this on our Discord server for Worldbuilding for Masochists. We have a fairly large group of folks there who push themselves and push each other, and we've got sort of an accountability channel there.
It's called Discipline for Masochists.
It is.
Oh,
It's
I love
amazing.
that.
There's so many
So
saucy
on
puns
brand.
Tell
involved.
me more.
But
Greta's just like, Mom mode, tell me about the discipline.
Well, I was going a different way with that.
Sure.
Yeah,
But-
kids, that's totally right.
Oh, yeah.
You get kids a certain way. And
It's just the step before
Often
that.
not a lot of discipline involved, unless, but anyway.
Continue,
Anyway,
Cass.
Cass, you
Yeah.
were saying.
boy, I think I had the rest of that sentence, but I don't know where it
I'm
went.
really sorry. I'm really sorry.
No, it's
You were
no,
talking
it's
about
good. It's
discipline
probably
for
much
masochists
better.
and keeping each other.
Accountability.
You know, it's been interesting to really see from the folks there what different people respond to when it comes to motivation and what keeps them going versus what might discourage them. And it's like we've got some folks who sometimes have realized, and I love it when they realize this, that like, oh, joining our little track bear and being in that sort of competitive state is not good for me, because if I'm too far behind, then I feel bad about myself. And like watching people realize that has been really interesting. Marshall and I mostly only compete with each other.
Yeah, I'm so bad right now.
we don't care
I
where
keep the
else anybody
bottom
else is.
going. The bottom is where I am, so make everybody feel really good. I'm keeping the low end of the bell curve,
Natania, you are
Anyway.
keeping everyone else afloat. That's what you're doing.
and might be recovering
for
from
helping
slight
everybody
burnout.
else be
Yeah.
like, at least I'm not last.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. No, I'm there. I'm supporting
Valuable.
other people that way because they're like, oh, you have published books out and you're not writing shit, and it's like, exactly. You too can get to this point in your life. Just
Yeah.
don't
That is
put
like-
out 6 books in like 3 years. Don't do that. Don't do that.
That's like the participation ribbon of accountability.
Stop playing with my pen. My cat is
She
so
can
obsessed
have
with
as
my
many
pen.
pens as she wants, Natania. She is a genius and
It's a
an
Lamy.
angel
It's
baby.
a nice pen.
She's going to write the book with you. She wants to be your co-author.
There you go.
I do write my pets into my books. I don't write actual people, but I do write my pets into my books.
Aw.
So since she's a fairy animal, she'll need to be in there somewhere soon.
Yes.
Animal
I just
companion.
wrote my brothers into a project that I can't really
Aw.
talk about, but they asked to die colorfully, and I was
Nice.
like, ha ha ha. I have been waiting for this day.
Ooh, I love that angle. Mine would be like, is this horrible person based on me? And I was like, no,
Oh my
no,
God.
I don't write anybody I know because I don't, but well, little bits of people. But
Oh, I do it all the time.
And kill them colorfully.
That's Greta.
That's Greta, yeah. She's out in her like little witch's cabin, just killing off siblings and whoever the fuck else.
That's
Oh,
how I
man.
stay so youthful.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
That's the skincare routine.
It's just clean
Oh my
living
God.
Yeah.
And the occasional murder.
The occasional sacrifice.
I think having a sense of humor.
So salt of blood curses.
It is organic.
We need that
you know?
humor. We need that because it's like if you look at it empirically, it's so depressing. Seriously. And I think it was
Not
MJ
me
you were saying
murdering
about,
people, publishing.
no, but like publishing. But I think MJ you were talking about giving yourself grace.
Yeah.
That's why like I can laugh that I'm not on contract right now. Like I don't have to write. If I want to play Claire Obscure for like 80 hours over the last couple of weeks, I can do that. I'm an adult and I can play video games. And I don't guilt trip myself anymore. I used to get so like, I'm never going to make my goals. Like, how can I not do this? I'm so disappointed. Now I'm just like, you know what? Today was not that day. And maybe that day doesn't happen for a couple months. That's okay.
Yeah. You'll come back to it. That's the thing. Like I've gone through like the first couple writing slumps you get into. I always feel like for me, like I'm like, it's over. The magic is gone. I'll never write again. And then it's like, no, girl, this sickness is for life. Like
This is a chronic illness that you have.
You will come back around. Like you'll be fine. Yeah. And I think once you've gone through a few of those slumps, it gets a little
this
easier
is just a
to be
brief
like
remission.
yeah, exactly. It never goes away entirely.
This
That
chronic
would just be
creative illness
silly.
sustains me.
Yeah. It's true though. It does.
Oh, brilliant. All right. Well, does anyone have any final parting words for the folks out there wanting to talk about their writing a little better?
Just learn by doing,
Yeah,
really.
do
You
the
just gotta
thing.
rip off the Band-Aid and try.
Do what you enjoy. Discover what you enjoy through trying stuff and then keep doing that.
lean into your weird. Your weird is what's going to sell you.
Yeah. That goes for books too. Like, just like your stories.
Yeah, for like what you
Oof.
write.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Share the love. Like, don't just talk about yourself on panels, on social media, whatever. Talk about the things that you're reading that you love and the things that you're watching that you love and the authors you love interacting with, the great conversation you had at a con. And if you're not reading things you enjoy, then you need to. Like, if you don't think you have anything to talk about in that way, you should.
Fill your cup. Yeah, for sure.
Fill
It's like
the cup.
Your
Go
Goodreads
do
is
some
like
creative things.
average 2.5 rating or something.
Yeah, it's like, no, man, go find something else.
DNF
Go
that
find something
shit,
you
man.
enjoy.
You don't have to read it.
Right.
Be loud about
This isn't school.
Be loud about things you love. Be quiet about things you don't, unless it's fascism. Be loud about that. But when it comes to like books you don't love, no one needs, it's fine. Just be quiet. But shout a lot about the things that you enjoy because that builds community. You'll feel better. I think it's good karma. I think that's a pay it forward type of thing. Yeah.
You
might end up with a
Author's
cat.
Day too. You might end up with a cat.
Yeah. You might end up with a cat.
Yeah. I think just like there's enough shit in this world and negativity that it's social media does a very good job, and I would put news media into this as well, does a very good job of highlighting the worst things that are happening right now, and it can feel very exhausting and overwhelming. And so the more time you can spend with people you love and enjoy, doing things you love and enjoy, talking about the things that you love and enjoy, and spreading that positivity, we're all the better for it. And so
It's powerful.
Yeah, no, I mean it's like
Radical joy is
like
powerful.
the vibes thing. Like you go to a con and it's just like that person's got like a good energy and you want to hang out with them, you want to talk with them. And
I don't know if
everything
that's,
like that.
I'm pointing to Marshall on my screen, but I don't.
You're pointing to MJ. MJ's got.
I thought it was the cat.
Yeah.
Oh.
Everyone's got that
everyone.
too, though.
Yeah.
Everyone.
So,
but I mean,
so,
Marshall invited me to Armadillo Con, and that's how we ended up just jiving. And then eventually it was on the podcast, and then like now I'm doing this, and I have a nonfiction book out on Sub, and it was really nice to add the metrics of Worldbuilding for Masochists to my package because it makes my numbers look nice. But none of that would have happened if I didn't decide to go to Austin. Like, you know.
Yeah, take the chance, do the thing.
Yeah. Go for it, Marshall.
In that, yeah, like find community and raise community up, and then community will raise you up. That's, that's the most important thing to me.
Yeah.
I love that.
Rising tides lift all boats. So
this
shit
is
into
one of
the
those
ocean.
few areas where that's actually true. That like just more people just loving things and sharing that will spread. And
but people still think that it's pie, that like
yeah,
success. Like if Marshall, your book takes off, that means mine won't, which is like
No.
Of course,
Right.
that's not how
And that's the
No,
thing,
it's
like readers like
ridiculous.
to read multiple books. And like
Mhm.
with us
Yeah.
doing a collab on the podcast listeners like to listen to multiple podcasts.
multiple podcasts.
Right?
Yep.
So it's like, you
'Cause,
know.
There can only
people
be
will be
one,
like,
MJ.
I listened.
Well, I got the
this
swords right
entire
here,
run of this
so let's
podcast.
go.
Try getting into my sauna, Cass. You'll be hacking away for days. Sorry, go for it, Marshall. Thank you.
It is.
Thank
It's
you. I
very nice.
appreciate it.
Lovely.
There was just like too much beige going on with my like white skin and everything. So, but I'll leave it on these words that Chuck Wendig said to MJ and I: don't step on other people's fingers while you're climbing up the ladder. Everyone, is on this ladder together, and we are all kind of climbing it in our own particular way. But if you're the kind of person that's just going to kick someone in the face or step on their fingers or something like that, then it's like this, this business, this industry, this community, the writing thing exists because we are all collaborating in some way or another. So don't be a dick. Be kind to the people around you. Help them up the ladder while you're also climbing up the ladder. And this has been a wonderful opportunity for us to climb the podcasting ladder together. And I really
It's been
appreciate
so
it.
much fun.
Aw.
It's great.
Yeah. And we'll just take a little minute at the end of this to pitch our books again, or say where we are on social media, however people want to follow us. Natania, we'll go with you first.
Sure. So all my books are available currently where fine books are sold. The Queens of Fate series is a completed trilogy as of when is it? June, July. I forgot because my life was very upside down. But that's from Solaris Books. And then the Love and Netherford series will be complete this year. So
Woo.
hopefully Game of Hearts will be out. And then I've got a lot of other things brewing. So hopefully I'll have some good news about that in the future. You can find me mostly at Blue Sky. I'm at Natania there. And then at Natania Barron or Natania Books, just about everywhere else.
Nice. Cass?
The Advent Cycle is available in ebook, print, and audio, where you get book-shaped things. Your site of preference to get book-shaped things, you can get it there. I also do another podcast for my job, the camp thing, called Myths and Muses, which is a family-friendly podcast. My language is different on that one than it's been tonight. Retelling
Just
mythological
letting it all
stories
out.
from across the world. You can find me. I'm mostly on Blue Sky these days, CassMorrisWrites.com, and also on Discord. So if you come hang out in our Discord server, I hang out there.
MJ?
Yeah. You can get also my duology anywhere fine books are sold. Yeah, Among Thieves, Thick as Thieves.
The way it comes up like a shark fin. Like,
Born up.
I love that. It's like the
Oh
best
my God.
kind of product placement ever.
Like fucking Jaws.
Where
just,
it's like slightly creeping dread.
Yeah.
Those are the vibes I bring to the function, so it's perfect.
My books are up there. You can see them.
Yeah.
Oh, look
There
at
you go.
them.
Up, wait.
See, I
there.
just have the
Oh,
world
okay.
maps behind me instead of the books behind me.
Oh my God.
See, we can
I
just
only bothered with
immerse
one. I was like,
ourselves in your world.
this is a temporary backdrop, so it's like,
I like it. It's effective. It has swords, so.
it's hiding my office, which no one needs to see.
There you go.
Oh my God. But yeah, you can follow me on social. I'm mostly on Instagram these days, MJ Kuhn Books, or just mjkuhn.com. And if you go to at FFA Book Club on Instagram, you can follow the Fanfatic Book Club and read Fathom Folk with us this month.
And also, MJ has the ultimate SFF story Bible. If you want
Yes,
a little
very
bit
cool.
of
Oh yeah.
yeah. If you're like a DM for like D&D, or if you're a writer and you
Yeah.
want something to help with your character and world
Or if you're like a masochistic world builder and want
Yeah,
a
Or
tool
that.
to help
That's
you world
true.
build.
Yeah, this audience is the perfect one to talk.
Exactly. And just
See,
like
thank you, Adrian.
buy multiple copies.
There's a reason the moment I saw that you were putting out that book, I'm like, MJ, come on the podcast.
Right. Would you like to come talk to us? I was like, yes, please.
And the number of times that we've both said, like, oh, and if you want something that's like a step-by-step guide, our guest, MJ Kuhn, has it amazing.
Right?
Ta-da.
Thanks. Yeah. If you wanna plan a book, go snag it. It's on sale for $9.99 right now. So
There you
yeah.
go. Marshall?
I can be found just about anywhere under Marshall Ryan Maresca or MR Maresca. My website is mrmaresca.com. My name is utterly unique, so if you Google me, you will find just me.
Same.
I'm mostly on Blue Sky, though even that's kind of sporadic. And I'm really mostly on our Discord server, where I will yell at the various kids in there, because I have somehow ended up just being like the Discord dad.
The crotchety guy on his porch, just like yelling at the kids.
Get off my lawn!
It's not quite that. It's yeah. I'm the wine auntie, Natania's the weird auntie,
Nice.
and then he's dad. And
Aw, I love that.
Discord sounds amazing.
It is.
MJ's. I call her the wine auntie all the time.
Yeah, it's true. More of a LaCroix auntie tonight.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
You know.
Lately, she's a little LaCroix.
I'm a LaCroix bitch.
All of my books are available in all the places you can find books. You can find the snazzy new versions of the first phase of the Meridian Saga with fancy covers made by one Miss Natania Barron. And those, you can find those. You can also go to meridane.com and find out just about everything you would ever want to know about the books and the worlds. So check that
Fantastic.
out.
Links are going to be in the description and everything.
Oh,
Where
wow.
book-shaped objects are sold or whatever that
Yes.
Greta?
Yeah, you can find me mostly on Instagram these days at Greta K. Kelly, but I also creep around on TikTok as well. And you can get my book-shaped objects wherever book-shaped objects are sold. But yeah, stay tuned. Keep creeping on my socials because there's some exciting shit happening in the background that I can't talk about yet, but hopefully very soon.
Nice.
So, yeah.
I want to know where
Hopefully
this
see you guys
like
on Instagram.
book-shaped object store is. You know, or maybe it's something that we
It
have to
sounds
start.
like a
I don't know.
beautiful place.
Yeah.
Wait, these are
It's
card
our
manuals.
merch store.
We only sell manuals for like blenders and laundry machines and
Hey.
shit. Yeah.
The original printing of Dune was by a company that just did car manuals. And for some
Really?
reason they were like,
Oh,
yeah,
really?
we'll publish
We have
this
come
sci-fi
full
book.
circle.
Full circle, man. I love it.
I love it.
Although I don't know
Alright.
if we had the Dune thing early enough. That was unrecorded, but that's fine.
Yeah, we were talking about Sting and his cod piece.
Sting in his
Yeah.
chastity belt.
Yeah.
We have said codpiece twice now, so
There we go.
there we go.
Yeah, full circle again. We got it. And if you want to get Mushroom Blues, wherever book-shaped objects are sold, if you want some fungal noir in your life, this is in an ebook, audiobook, paperback, and hardcover. You can also check out the Latebacker store for the Book of Spores anthology with stories by MJ, Greta, and a bunch of other authors. That'll be in the links below. And yeah, you can check out my website, adrianmgibson.com. If you need book design or like anything like that, you can hit me up. And you can find me on most social media platforms at Adrian M. Gibson. So just, DM me, whatever you want to do.
That reminds
what's
me,
it?
though, y'all have an anthology that you're just putting out now.
Yes.
We did an anthology last year.
Nice.
Wait, I can do it too. I can do it too.
She can do the thing.
Yeah.
We did an anthology where of the world that we've been building on the show since the beginning, and we invited a bunch of the authors who had been on the show to contribute something to this great
Really
anthology,
fun.
I love that.
which is set in our world where there are all these magical gates that can transport you anywhere and everywhere around the world, except they only transport living things, so you show up on the other side naked, and it's and when this was given to us for being part of the world by one of our guests, we're like, this is an amazing concept that would define the world.
We're gonna create an entire universe around it.
Right?
Yeah. And so
Amazing.
we have this great fun little anthology that we put out, and you can find out more information about that on our website, which is worldbuildingformasochists.podbeam.com.
Fantastic.
Bum,
I
bum.
love that. I love that last minute plug. If you want naked people going through gates,
Yeah.
Who doesn't in
We
this
got 'em.
economy? I mean, really.
we got him. We got him. And if you're listening to this on SFF Addicts, please go check out Worldbuilding for Masochists, an absolutely fantastic podcast. And if you're listening,
And if you're listening to this at World Building for Masochists, please go check out SFF Addicts.
look at that. Well, thank you all so much for listening.
Cross-promotional.
Cross
energy.
promotion.
Crossover episode.
Cross pollination.
Thank you all so much for listening. We really appreciate you. And to all of you for doing this panel. It's been fantastic to hang out with you, talking about turtles and cod pieces and shit. It's great.
And turtles
Love
with
it.
cod pieces. No, that
Turtles
was a
with-
weird splash pick. That was not
I mean, the
the same.
What is
turtle's
a turtle
already.
shell?
I mean, like the bottom of the turtle
But-
shell is already like a cod
but a
piece.
cod piece.
They've got a built-in cod piece.
Yeah. Although I went to the Galapagos recently, I found out giant tortoises have their penises in their tails. So
They
cod piece
do. Yes.
does not
Turtles.
work in that.
It makes the Ninja Turtles a little bit more disturbing to know that.
Ooh,
but
yeah,
It reads differently now. Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways,
Cass, I
fun-
broke you.
That
Close
is
out.
that is our
What a way
weird-
to close
That
out.
is our weird or random fact to close out this episode.
There we
That's
go.
good. That's good. That's good.
There we go.
Good night,
And
everybody.
I'm not the
Good
only
night,
one
everybody.
with weird
Tortoise
biology
dicks.
facts, okay? It's not just me. See, Adrian and I we're
Oh,
kindred
my
souls, okay?
We are kindred souls. Thank you all for listening to this shit show, and enjoy the rest of your week.